Hello and what's up? You can see another favorite tribal deck here, which we're going to discuss for our Lost Caverns of Ixalan standard. And we're going to feature for this video our Lost Caverns Red Green Dinos. So with this new set coming out, I see a lot of potential cards that goes with the support of having this tribal archetype as a potential. We would not really expect a top tier, but the potential to become a one of the established aggro in the metagame after the Lost Caverns of Ixalan enters the set or the format. I mean, so we're going to check. Just this is just a quick rundown of our beta kind of deck list for the main deck. So we have 32 creatures, only one enchantment, 23 lands, and alone 4 copies of a sorcery, which align with the Dinosaur deck mechanic strategy. So we're going to go first on how we can go, as I mentioned, that why they are called as a potential cards on its own. As you can see here, most of the main deck is basically only coming from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So our first and lone one drop here is the 4 copies of Ixalis Lore Keeper. So this is a 1 mana for 1 and can tap mana of any color, only to spend for dinosaur spell and activation abilities of a dinosaur source. So basically this is your lone Lenora Elf or your Birds of Paradise aligned to that of the dinosaur. And it's very important that we have a turn 1 play because of this build that has a lot of basically doing things by turn 2 and turn 3. So accelerating your mana is very crucial and efficient, and in a way could be ramping you up to a good spells of your dinosaurs. And also in partner of that card is Intrepid Paleontologist. This is having 3 copies in the deck. That's 2 to cast for 2. That's 2/2 that can add also mana of any color, and also the ability that can exile cards from a graveyard. The bonus here is why we're having this one is that exiling your own dinosaur creature cards can be recasted by its ability that, as you can read here, you may cast creature spells from among cards you exile with Paleontologist. If you cast a spell this way, the creature enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So that finality counter is a short rule reminder. Any way that it would leave the battlefield, it will be exiled instead. So we are just avoiding the abuse of this ability, but nevertheless, this can basically be a recurring card to do with your creatures in the late game, as those, for example, killed in the early turns by any spot removal spot removal that has no exile effect. So we have 3 copies in the deck. The other 2 drop here is this not little, it's a yearling, but it goes with a 2 to cast 3/2, and has also trample. Its a bonus is that whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield under control, you may have a Belligerent Yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power. So in a way, it's not only be attacking for 3, in case that you're going to curve out well. For instance, you have this one as turn 3, it will become 5 for the base power, and also curving out later on for a 6/6, for example. You could also have this base power equal to that creature's power alternative turn. So basically having this one gets you bonus extra attack power and can deal also huge chunks of damage in that setup. So that goes with 1 drop and 2 drop. Or last but not the least is this one, the 2 copies of Iskrent, his firstborn of Kisat. So this is not only a 2 to cast 2/3 haste, but it can also act as a 4 mana cost because its ability that when it enters the battlefield you may pay 2. It will have to have this ability that target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. So that also would be relevant in case that there are instances that you will need to fight dinosaur with your control to another relevant creature with the opponent. You can use Isquint ability to do that setup. So that is 2 copies in the deck. Now for our 3 drops, you can see here that we only have 2 copies of Trashing Brontodon for the utility of having a 3/4 body, but also can destroy artifact or enchantment if needed. And we can see another here, the Trumpeting Carnosaur, in which its ability can also become a 3 mana cost at any given or needed scenario, wherein you can just pay 3 to discard it, and it will deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So we'll just have to discuss the full ability later on. Now for our 4 drop, we only have 4 copies here of the Hulking Raptor, but it's very relevant here that we have 4 of this because of its ability that it's not only a 5/3 with ward 2, but also can get you to ramp by adding 2 extra green mana at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. So example, if you go with this 4 turn, then your 5th turn will be 5 plus 2, and basically you can have a 7 mana in total, wherein you can do a lot of things. You can have this one a 6 drop on turn 5, and much more if your bonus. If you have extra 1 mana, you can just basically hard cast Kalta by that time. So that's accelerating you 2 turns earlier by this important pre-combat main phase of adding 2 mana green mana for your mana pool. So also with that 4 drop, that's 4 copies, we go to the 5 drop that we can have this red Dinosaur. That's a dinosaur dragon per se. It's a flying first strike. It's a 5 mana cost for 5/5, and at the beginning of upkeep, you can exile top cards from library, and then you will play them this turn. Exiling those top 2 cards will also be relevant because if you have exiled a land card, this way you will create a 3/1 dinosaur creature token, and if you have exiled a land card, it will create a creature token. At the same time, you get the bonus wherein you can also ramp for a good creature or ramp for Galta in this setup, or just do any fixed need if needed. But the important thing is that your extra lands that has been exiled and can also be played from exile can also generate you extra board advantage with this 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. So again, this is also important that we have 4 copies of this in the deck. Now for another card for the 5 drop that can also get you to have a good board advantage is Palanis Hatcher. So this is a 5 to cast for 5/3 that is red and green color. It has this ability that other dinosaurs you control have haste, and then when it enters the battlefield, you will create 2/0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens. And the good thing is that when you combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice that egg, and then you will create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token that can also join you in the attack because having also this one that gets them a haste ability. So if you're important, you can curve this early on. That's gets your other dinosaurs played after the Hatcher would gets them also to haste and can also attack the turn they can come into the battlefield. So that's 3 copies, and we also have our 6 mana cost lone copy of Earthshaker Dreadmo. They call this one as the upgraded version of the Dreadmo, the popular Dreadmo main card. So this one is not only goes with a 6/6 trample, but it gets you card advantage that when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other dinosaur you control. So it goes well that you need to be that of a tribal deck because of this ability for this instance. And then again, the Trumpeting Carnosaur, if hard casted, can become 6 to cast 7/6 with trample. That's very good power and toughness to do that kind of setup for just 6 mana. And the bonus is that when enters the battlefield, you will discover 5. So we'll do a cascade effect for 5 mana, or wherein you can just cast those cards with 5 mana cost or less. For instance, we have a Hatcher or even the Bonehorde Dinosaur at our disposal that can be casted for free by casting this Trumpeting Carnosaur for your 6 mana. And last but not the least, for our creatures is probably the mother of this tribal dinosaur for Ixalan, that is Galta Stampede Tyrant. It is now costing 8 mana cost for 12/12. That's a very huge power and toughness, and the casting is not really that hard to cast because of this deck setup of this mana ramp, and also some adding mana effects in the form of this Raptor. So with that, the bonus also that not only hard casting this one, and when it enters the battlefield, put any number of creature cards from your hand into the battlefield. So it also gets you to free casting of your other dinosaurs going into play. So that is 2 copies of that. That's total for the 32 creatures. The only non-creature cards I've chosen here would be this one. The first one is the only enchantment, the Huntsman Redemption from Wilds of the Drain. This would not only create your creature, but I want to consider this one because of its ability that can tutor for any creature card. So if any given scenario, especially during sideboarded games, you can use this ability to just sacrifice your mana creature, search library for any relevant creature card, and then put it in your hand, and then basically casting it for the setup of having a good threat or any utility creature needed at that certain situation or scenario. And that for the 3 Lord counter, you can have also your dinosaurs becomes bigger by ++2 and also giving them trample at the end of turn. So that is the only enchantment saga here in the deck. And along the also the main deck spot removal here is the 4 copies of Triumphant Champ. This is just looking to be a sorcery speed shock, because you can deal the damage to creature, but with any of your dinosaurs in play, it will change to that of the greatest power among dinosaurs you control, whichever is greater. So that is also very situational, but at the same time, if you get to curve out with your dinosaurs, it would just become a 1 mana cost efficient spot removal for that kind of scenario. And for their lands, which are last but not the least, we have chosen 23 lands, and I've added also the new cards, Caverns of Souls, in matchup against decks with heavy counters, especially mono blue. You can have this one to choose a creature type of dinosaur, in which the mana spent to cast the special creature spell of the chosen type can be countered. So that's 2 copies, and also 2 dead 4 copies of Restless Ridgeline. So this is also a dinosaur creature per se, with the 4 mana activation. It becomes a 3/4 red and green dinosaur creature, and can have the also bonus to have another target attack creature +2/+0 at the end of turn, then untap it. So it fits in the theme of the Dino deck, and the rest are just pretty much basic mana fix, Plain Gorge, Corpus and Forest, some channel lands, also Raffle Vale, and included also our basic lands, Forest and Mountain. So the mana curve is basically very heavy watch with the mana value of 3.41, but the good thing is that we have a lot of basically mana creatures that can fix in basically accelerate our mana, in which this curve will not really matter, as long as we're hitting our lands and also having our good turn 1 play and turn 2 play for this deck. And the color distribution, we have basically green 33 and red is 27, and producers basically much even, with this a lot of side other colors that is added in this mana cost and mana production pie. And last but not the least are tokens. These are the Beast token from Dance Punch Redemption and Spirit token from Sukan Sun. But overall, I think this would be a pretty interesting deck to try in the standard format, because we are happy again that we're having Dinosaurs, our tribal, as our main aggro deck of kind of setup that would also fit to get to play with only noticeably just supported by only the newest set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck. I can't wait to try this one in our maybe just an online version, maybe an MTG Arena, so we're gonna have some good playtests of this. And if you're already ahead or have already tried an early access for this kind of deck, just let me know in the comments below, so we can have a good discussion as to how this deck functions. We can have also to compare builds and other card components that are potentially applicable for the Dino Tribal standard format legal deck. So I guess that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.